Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, Emilio, can you explain the impact on forecasting of the trend of lead time in a reservation? The fact that guests wait the last minute to make a reservation.
Lead time obviously very important in revenue management, knowing when the business comes in. And over the past so many years we have indeed seen that lead time has reduced, especially for transient segments, the individual traveler. But meanwhile that has established as well a certain point of, okay, this is the way it is. And it's not like it's getting shorter and shorter, because it is already short as such. Where we do see a change is actually in the group segments, if you like, in the business group especially segments, or in conference and banqueting inquiries, where we really see that the lead time is getting shorter. People send their inquiry at a shorter period, and they also commit to that inquiry at a much longer, much shorter coming to the arrival date actually. So that's a major change we have been seeing over the, let's say, past 2 years, and especially last year, of course, people were very anxious to commit to a piece of business. And in addition to that, they are also more anxious to commit to the conditions which they need to sign for. Because obviously a group agreement requires prepayment, yes. There are some cancellation agreements to that as well, and people are looking for more flexibility.
Yes.
So those are changes that we have noticed in the past years, if you like. And it does make a difference if it comes to the way we forecast, but obviously also the way we set our strategies.
Yes. How did your business units cope with the recent economic crisis? Did you lower your rates, or did you keep the same rates but added value to your product?
What we always do is if you look at pricing, we obviously it's a market-driven pricing, it's market-based pricing. So we adapt our prices obviously to what the market is willing to pay. In a downturn economy, besides the fact that people have perhaps less money to pay, and whether that's the person that needs to pay from his own pocket or the company that has just budget restraints, that puts a pressure on the rate. And you can say either I don't react to this, or I do, because obviously we also want to make sure that we have as much conversion as possible, that we steer as much of the existing demand still to our own properties. And pricing, therefore, yes, we had to adapt our strategy in that regard. So we have noticed a significant drop actually in rates over the past, let's say, 14, 16 months. Simply, once again, because the market is willing to pay less, yes. Demand dropped, there is more competition out there, and in certain cases people even said, like, the price or the rate is determining where I stay.
Yes.
Despite the fact that you might offer me more values,
yes.
Despite the fact that your room might be nicer and so on. So yes. Pricing has been a very important element over the past so many months.
Yes. Yield management is nowadays computerized. Does the position of revenue manager at risk of disappearing?
I don't think at all. I think that revenue management was already quite a challenging job as such, and it's getting not easier. I mean, there are more elements coming into the responsibilities of revenue management. Think, for instance, about how to manage all the different channels, and that means that we have less time available as well. So any kind of system that supports a revenue manager in doing a better job, either because it allocates availability and rates in different channels, or it helps you in setting or making recommendations in terms of strategies, is only a supporting tool. It's always better that the system does the gathering of statistical data for you than you have to do it yourself, because you actually reserve more time to do what you need to do, and that is looking at revenue opportunities by analyzing the information, and that's key. So we do really not see it as a threat, we see it as a supporting tool.
Yes. So in fact there is a bright future for this position in hotel chains.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, the human factor will definitely not disappear because of the fact that we have systems, once again, that support us.
It's a support.
Yes.
This will be my last question, Emilio. Did you identify new useful key performance indicators in complement to the classic RevPAR?
Let's not say new KPIs. No, I don't think we have new KPIs, but it's perhaps the way we use them and perhaps the attention we give them. If you look at the room part, we always talk about the occupancies versus the ADRs, and we talk obviously about the most important one, which is RevPAR. And then obviously how your RevPAR is versus the marketplace, so your RevPAR penetration. Those have always been there and they will always stay. I don't think that that will change. Some hotel chains also look at total revenue per sold room, per available room. It's a different way of looking at it, and it might be different, but it doesn't really change anything to the way of looking at KPIs. Where we do give more attention is in particular conference and banqueting. We have a couple of KPIs. We have occupancy levels over there as well. We have the conversion ratio. How many leads did we actually convert into confirmed bookings? And how much revenue do we actually generate per square meter we have available in the conference and banqueting area. They've always been there, but to which extent did we actually proactively use them in order to seek revenue opportunities for the future? That is something we as a company within the Nature Hotels, we are emphasizing on much more than before.
Yes.
And an important element as well, as I mentioned before, channel management is coming into the equation. It's becoming very important. E-distribution is very important. And one of the elements you look at there is how is my conversion over there? How is my conversion on the different channels? So the key KPI remains the same, but the way you use it gets a different meaning as well.
Yes.
More meaning than before.
Yeah. Well, Emilio, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inviting me.